Hey, what's up, VC? John here from JB's Vinyl and Cassettes, and I am about to pull in here in a second to one of my favorite thrift stores in Southern California, and I thought maybe I'd take you with me. I've found a few really great albums here. I've also found poop here, so hopefully we'll land somewhere in the middle. So let's go ahead and dig around a little bit, and then afterwards, if we find anything, we'll take a look at what we found. Let's do this! All in all, we got 7 albums, spent just under $20, so I think that's a pretty darn good dig. First album I'm going to show you right here called Full Moon. It's the debut album by Chris and Rita. They got married just weeks before they cut this debut in 1973. And here's the inside liner notes. It's actually a pretty clean copy. And there's a song on here called From the Bottle to the Bottom that actually won a Grammy for Best Duo, I believe, that year of 1973. So there you go, ladies and folks. And it's a promotional copy to boot. So it's got that. It's got the hole through it. It's just beautiful. And take a quick look at that vinyl itself so that you can see that. Need to clean it off a bit, obviously. But there is our label, A&M Records. Next. All right, this next one is a folk/country album. I had never heard of them before, but still had some of the shrink on it, so I thought I would pick it up. They're called Ian and Sylvia, okay? This is from 1965. And I listened to it, and if you're in the mood for some country music, folk music, and some harmonizing, they don't do bad. I think it's a really cool looking album cover there. Ian and Sylvia. They have a song on here that was written by Johnny Cash. They have a song on here that was written by Gordon Lightfoot. So, looks like they were in with some good people. You may know more about these people than I do, but there you go with a little bit of what we got. Next. All right, I love Jethro Tull, and I don't own all of his albums yet, but I own quite a few of them, but for some reason I don't own this, probably because it's not considered to be a very popular one. But Too Old to Rock and Roll, Too Young to Die, to find this at a thrift store in pretty cherry condition. I mean, the cover itself is looking pretty nice. The cartoon on the inside is looking pretty stellar as well. And the vinyl too. So this one came out in 1976. That was his 9th studio album. And there we go. This is considered his last concept album. And the reviews were kind of mixed because concept-wise, lyrically, not his most powerful album. But still, obviously, it's Jethro Tull. Some really good musical moments in here. So worth checking out. Definitely worth buying for a couple bucks at a thrift store. That's right, folks. Next. Okay, so this one is another debut album. I found a couple debuts in this little dig, which I'm really excited about. This is something I'd never heard of before. I found a couple comedians I'd never heard of before in this dig. Both of them female. I'm so excited about them. First one is her debut album from 1959, and this is called Songs for Sinners by Rusty Warren. And pretty much she was just a very risque comedian / singer. It's right here on this beautiful Jubilee label here. Look at that. But Songs for Sinners, and they don't have the song listing on here yet, and I haven't listened to this yet, but I did look up. She's known for songs like Knockers Up, I think is one of her albums, and also Bounce Your Boobies is one of her famous songs. So when you think about 1959 and Bounce Your Boobies and Knockers Up, I'm super interested in digging in just to see what Rusty Warren has in store for me. Totally worth finding that and excited. And it's a really clean copy from 1959. It says another hilarious comedy album that has Mr. and Mrs. America rolling on the floor. You can see that right there. So that's pretty cool. Next. All right, next up, another new one for me. Another female comedian I'd never heard of. Her name is, I think, Toadie or Tootie Fields. I listened to a little bit of her online, and it was actually really funny. Her voice reminds me so much of Joan Rivers. It's ridiculous. This album is from 1969, and that is her. And again, another kind of making risque jokes. As I look at, her track listing on what I was listening to online, it's like, I'm sexy, and she's the kind of woman that would saunter through the audience and sing to the man, and don't you want some of this, and stuff like that. The first song on here is called Sexy Me, and then celebrities, Engelbert Humperdinck, Cary Grant, Paul Newman, pretty dated. On Mainstream Records, such a rad-looking label, and just excited to, again, a really clean copy of this Toadie Fields live, and never heard of her before, and to get a clean copy for a couple of bucks and to now discover someone else that possibly influenced people that I love so much, I am super excited to get this one also. Next. All right, this one I know nothing about. It's called Y2K Beat the Clock. It came out in like 1999, and it's a compilation dance album, 2 discs. It's got people like Prodigy and Fatboy Slim, the Chemical Brothers, and it seems as though maybe it's DJ mixes of songs by these bands. It looks like this came out of the UK. And it's on a very interesting label here, as you can see. It says Y2K on there. So anyway, I thought for a couple of dollars, not really my style of music in a sense, but I like Fatboy Slim and I like Chemical Brothers and stuff, but DJ music in general isn't like my thing. But I figured for so cheap, both discs were still in it. I figured might as well try it out. Next. All right, I know this guy Tommy Dorsey because I have some of his stuff and I listened to some of his big band music, but I hadn't seen this album before, so I picked it up because it was nice and cheap. It's called Yes, Indeed, and guess what? This thing right here is from 1956, and it looks like it's in pretty clean condition for a 1956. Yes, indeed. Tommy Dorsey and his orchestra. Right here on RCA. You can see that beautiful label there with the woof woof doggy dog. Some of the songs on here include I'm Getting Sentimental Over You, which was recorded August 26, 1935. Boogie Woogie from 1938. We have Little White Lies recorded in 37. And let's do one more. How about the Royal Garden Blues from April 3rd, 1936. So this is going to be a fun one for me to spin and to add to my collection, ladies and gentlemen. You can't go wrong with any of the Dorseys, but I do love me some Tommy Dorsey. And that's it. Thanks again for going along with me on another journey. So much fun to dig, spend a couple bucks, find things that you want, but I really love going to thrift stores and to the dollar bins to find music I'd never heard of before, because it's a cheap gamble, and everything I gambled on today, I think paid off. I'm excited to now have broadened my scope of realm of comedians, female comedians, and things like that, and some techno music, and it's cool. It's cool. Fun day. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Until then, be blessed.